I'm not sure if you know this, but today, February 16th, 2018, 2 days removed from the shooting in Florida, there was a community college in the Seattle area that was on some form of lockdown because of threats of a shooting. There was a high school in Kennewick, Washington that was in some form of lockdown because of threats of a school shooting. And there was a middle school in Spokane, Washington that was in some form of lockdown due to threats of a school shooting. The one in Spokane, it was an 11-year-old. And the 11-year-old was found and taken into custody. It was an 11-year-old making threats to shoot up a middle school. My daughter's 11. So, with the 11-year-old, was that a mental health thing? Was it a prayer thing? Or do we just blame the parents completely? The parents 100% to blame? Or is it maybe the fact that an 11-year-old can get a gun from where his parents keep it? Because there are more guns in this country than people. It's a very important thing to realize. There are more guns than people in the country. Now, I don't have a gun. I don't think anybody in my family has a gun in their house. So what's that mean? That means that we got people with dozens of guns in their home. And if you got dozens of guns in your home and maybe you're working 2 or 3 jobs because the economy sucks and you're a middle-class person who they're trying to not help. And maybe you can't watch your kid 24 hours a day. And maybe you're a single parent. You went through a nasty divorce, and because you can't afford health insurance, that 11-year-old kid who's dealing with some anger issues couldn't go see a counselor. And I can relate to that because when I was 11 years old, 10 years old, my parents went through a divorce. And it was sucky. It was hard. My father had health insurance, so I had health insurance. And at 10 years old, I went to see a counselor for the first time. This kid in Spokane probably couldn't go see a counselor. Or maybe he could have. I don't know. I don't know the details. But the point is, maybe if the gun wasn't in the equation, we wouldn't have had a middle school in lockdown. Do you know how much that sucks? Do you know how much the concept of middle school kids having to sit in a classroom and be in some form of lockdown, and then we're just supposed to, oh no, kids, just keep on learning. Just keep on learning, kids. And we see studies and we know numbers about the rate of depression and anxiety amongst students now, amongst high school kids, middle school kids, and how it's through the roof. Well, why is it through the roof? Maybe it's through the roof because they're getting shot. And they're worried about getting shot. You don't think that doesn't mess with a kid's mind? If you're 11 years old and you have to constantly Not even constantly, just sometimes. Sometimes you have to have the thought in your head of, what if a shooter comes in my classroom? What if somebody comes in here with a gun in my classroom? When you're 11, you don't think that's going to do some damage? It's gonna. And we could fix it. We can help these kids. We could. But we're not gonna, because we're not gonna take guns away from people. So if we're not gonna take guns away from people, it's time to come to the table and start making some real compromises. Start making some real changes. And stop letting our kids live in fear. You know, when my kids were little and they'd have a bad dream or something like that, what do you tell kids? What do you tell a kid when they're scared? You say, oh, it's okay. Everything's going to be all right. And is it? We tell our kids, I'll do anything I can to protect you. I will always protect you. I will always be there for you. I won't let anything hurt you. And these are things that we tell our kids. Now, we know that that's not always true. You know, we can't stop a kid from getting hurt, right? We know that the kids are going to get hurt, but we're going to be there to comfort them. You know, we're going to be there to pick them up when they fall down. And now, more and more, every year, we lie to our kids and just cross our fingers. And praying in schools, that's not going to change it. Churches get shot up too. If prayer was the answer to keeping our kids safe in school, none of those churches would get shot up. I'm pretty sure there's been 3 mass church shootings in the past couple of years. You gotta come to the table, kids. Good luck.